Hello there, and a very good Tuesday afternoon to you. Welcome along to our live broadcast here on Global Irish Radio. It's the Daily Crack with me, Sean G. On a hot and sticky Tuesday. 25 degrees Celsius here in the county of Mayo. We're broadcasting live from just outside Castlebar. And not a cloud in the sky. Clear blue skies. Haven't seen that for a while, but there you go. And yes, some people are complaining. You'll have that kind of thing. It's the irritability index. It's on the rise. We told you about that yesterday. That's where people tend to get, irritated by the heat, a little bit grumpy, and sudden heat stress and all of that. But we are coping well. And the paper's filled with all kinds of nonsensical ways in which to stay cool in this hot weather. Remember, air conditioning, not something that you're going to find around these parts. So all kinds of tips and stuff like that, but most of them pure nonsense, including things like putting your pyjamas into the freezer before you go to bed. Like, who wears pyjamas? But anyway, there you go. It's hot and sticky, and some of us are loving this summer. Long may it last. And of course, the beaches. Well, the beaches are in a bit of a mess, it turns out, actually. Looking at some of the papers today, thousands of people hit the beaches, as you know, over the weekend to cool off during this current heat wave. But a bunch of them left their trash behind. And we were telling you yesterday on the programme, if you are going to the beach, you know, we forgot to tell you to clean up your mess. But the other thing is to watch out for the thieves lurking amongst you at the beach. Because the thieves, they go there too, and they want to get your belongings, particularly your valuables, your cell phone, that kind of stuff. So there was an alert issued by the Gardaí to watch out for that kind of stuff. The latest alert is to pick up your the trash and clean up after yourselves. Because the tidy townspeople of the country don't want to be going around cleaning up after you, and it's not too hard to do. So apparently there's some pictures of the papers today, whereas yesterday the papers were full of people scantily clad at the beach and having good times and all smiles and all that kind of stuff. Today it's the aftermath of all of that and the rubbish that was left behind on the beach. So that's one of the side effects of all of that. So there you go. Welcome along to our live broadcast, the newly relaunched dailycrack.com, and with you most days, not every day, we'll be here when we can. There's lots going on, and we'll be with you to bring up to speed on all that you need to know. And when we are not here, you can always go online to our new home on the internet, or as George Bush would say, the internets, the dailycrack.com. You can find us. That's where we live on the internet, and everything that you'll hear on this show, well, you'll find on that website if you dig or dive deep or navigate the site. There's everything on there. As I say, we launched it to coincide with relaunching of this live broadcast, and this will be available later in the day as a podcast, and there's a link to all of the podcasts on the site as well. You get a glimpse of all the front pages of the daily newspapers. It's nice to see the headlines. If you want to go behind the headlines, we have a link to all of the daily papers here in this country of ours. And of course there are links to all the big news sites, and there are lots of news sites, things like, well, RTE of course, but joe.ie, journal.ie, lots of other sites that have snippets of information and crack. Lots of crack as well. So there you go. That's where we find our crack. The best crack in Ireland, dailycrack.com. Check it out if you get a free moment. Let us know what you think. studio@gir.ie is a good way to get in touch with us. But it's good to be back with you. And as I say, we're live, coming to you live here on Global Irish Radio, the Irish diaspora station, bringing Irish radio programs from Ireland and all around the world. And as we were getting ready for the show today, we were looking at the calendar and looking to see what date it was, essentially, and to check the temperature. And something jumped out at me. There's a lot of things now happening on the calendar. These days the calendar is very crowded, but I couldn't help but notice it's Cow Appreciation Day. And that maybe because I like cows and animals and horses and dogs, and I was intrigued by the notion of Cow Appreciation Day, as was Margaret, in fact, as well. So we decided to look a bit, dive deeper, as we say, into Cow Appreciation Day. And one of the things it said, how to celebrate it. Well, by eating chicken, interestingly enough. So there you go. So that really got us, curious. So let's look a little further into Cow Appreciation Day. There's other ways to observe it too, like going along and meet up with some cows, your favourite cows, or go to a dairy farm, all that kind of stuff. But we looked even deeper than that, and we looked into the histories and the origins of this Cow Appreciation Day. And it turns out that it's the brainchild of the Chick-fil-A company. And if you're not familiar with Chick-fil-A, that's an American fast food company that specializes in chicken. They serve chicken. Yeah, now, Are you with me on this one? There you go. So it was conceived by this company, a fast food chicken company, Chick-fil-A, encouraging people to skip the burger and to eat some chicken. So the extremes that these people in the marketing departments will go to is it knows no limits or boundaries. So that's the history and origins of Cow Appreciation Day. A commercial endeavour geared towards getting you to pass up on the burger for a day and to eat more chicken and to drive up their profits. You couldn't be up to these people, honestly. Anyway, happy Cow Appreciation Day. We hope you're well. We hope you can stay with us for a little while here on the programme as we bring you up to speed on the latest happenings here in Mother Ireland. It's what we do. We keep you informed. We keep you connected with home. The top trending stories, that kind of stuff. The lighter side of the news. Cow Appreciation Day. All of that nice stuff. Might squeeze in a song or two as well. We'll see how we're going. We'll see how the heat affects us. So, World Cup, and it's down to the final four, isn't it? It is, yes. Down to the business end now, and only 4 teams left. And there's one semi-final tonight, and there's another one tomorrow night. Spain versus France tonight. Most people think that is the real World Cup, and a lot of people think, France might be the ones that will be walking away with the trophy on the 19th of July. The other semi-final, of course, tomorrow. England versus Argentina. A lot of talk about that game as well, so that's what you got to look forward to in terms of your World Cup action this Tuesday and this Wednesday. England will be hoping that lightning does not strike twice, as Argentina will wear their Hand of God kit for the blockbuster World Cup semi-final tomorrow. Argentina wore their dark blue strip when Diego Maradona's controversial Hand of God gold and mesmerising solo effort broke England's hearts in 1986 at the World Cup in Mexico City. Will history repeat itself? We'll have to wait and see. The world champions have won just 3 of their 14 clashes with the English, and 2 of those came in the away colours. So history and stats are on the side of the Argentinians, and one can't help feel that things will go their way again tomorrow night. But nothing. It ain't over till it's over. Nothing is predetermined. We will have to wait and see. 90 minutes of football at least has to be played before we know what happens. But a lot of excitement around, as you can imagine. And I know that Mary Ellen out in Philadelphia will be rooting for England. And we'll see what happens. There you go. There's a big debate going on in this country, I have to tell you. There was a whole hour or two dedicated to it on Liveline. I think it was last week. Quite an entertaining show where the question was put out there: do you support England? Because there is this notion of ABE, Abe, anybody but England, and it's almost sacrilegious for an Irish person to support England in a World Cup. Me, I'm not too. I kind of like them, but the fans and things, they're the worst fans in the world. Here we are in Mayo and we have the best fans in the world. We support our team no matter what. But you know what? When things aren't going the English's way, and we've seen it in a recent game where things were going a little bit pear-shaped, and the fans, the England fans started booing their team. That was the night that Harry Kane, I think, scored 2 goals. Harry Kane, who has connections here to Mayo, I think, hasn't he? But anyway, he scored 2 goals, and all of a sudden, they're all back on board and cheering and shouting and rooting for the team. But if you're a true fan, you stick with your team through thick and thin, and for that reason, that's one of the reasons that I don't like England. I do think that they deserve a win, but when their fans behave like that, how can you support that? But anyway, there you go. We'll have to wait and see. It was a very interesting hour and a half of radio. Some people calling in saying why we should support England, and then others saying why they couldn't support England to save their lives. ABE, Abe, as I was saying. So there you go. But anyway, no matter which camp you're in, you get to enjoy that game Wednesday night at 8 p.m. England versus Argentina. That will be an exciting one. The water is running dry here in this country. And can you imagine if we were getting good summers all the time? It's a good thing that we don't get good summers all the time, because, the weather, we've had 1 or 2 hot days, and all of a sudden, even though we're surrounded by water, we're a tiny little island, we're running out of the water already. That's how bad things are. The Ishka is, there are hose bans, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's check in on the weather and see what is happening. We told you yesterday that there were heat warnings and heat advisories for various counties across the island of Ireland. So the latest from Met Éireann is that the high temperatures, they're set to continue for the rest of the week, with Met Éireann issuing status yellow warnings for most of the country now. Yellow heat warnings. I don't ever remember this, but anyway, there you go. A high temperature warning for Clare, Cork, Kerry, Limerick, Galway and Mayo is in place until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. with the forecast warning of temperatures possibly reaching above 27 degrees. Remember, the official definition of a heat wave is 5 consecutive days above 25 degrees Celsius. So I think this will qualify as a heat wave, looking at a lot of the temperatures around the country, and the hot weather is set to continue, as you say there, through the rest of the week. There's a separate status yellow high temperature warning that will come into effect at midday tomorrow until 6 a.m. on Friday. So these warnings, they're coming, and there's new ones replacing them, and there's new counties being included. It covers Carlow, Kildare, Kilkenny, Laois, Longford, Offaly, Westmeath, Cavan, Donegal, as well as Munster and Connacht. So pretty much, it's an even burst of sunshine all across the country this time. Last time round, when we got that spell of hot weather, it was particularly hot in the west, which is unusual because we usually get the crappy weather here, even when it's nice in the sunny southeast and stuff like that. But anyway, an even spread of sunshine and a lot of heat warnings going into effect. Met Éireann said that high temperatures could lead to heat stress. Well, we told you about it. The irritability index, it is rising, not just the mercury rising. The irritability index rising as well. So it could lead to heat stress, forest fires as well, and drought, as well as uncomfortable sleeping conditions, and overnight temperatures not dropping below 15 degrees Celsius. So you'll want to put on the air conditioning, aka open the windows. That's the only air conditioning you'll find here in Mayo anyway. So yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable from a sleeping perspective. You'll have one leg under the duvet and God knows where the other one will be. But anyway, stay cool. And if you have to, of course, there's lots of tips in all of the papers on how to stay cool, as you say, including putting the old PJs. Wouldn't it be better not to wear any PJs? But anyway, there you go. Put them in the freezer. Some people are talking about putting the hot water bottle, a reverse hot water bottle, filling it with water and putting it in the freezer. But anyway, there's all kinds of tips and hacks and stuff like that to stay cool, to help you through this hot spell. And as I was saying, and we have a little piece here on it, all about the water shortage, because we had sunshine now for 2 or 3 days, and there's already problems with our water supply here in this lovely country of ours. A hosepipe ban will be going into place this week as the scorching weather continues to put pressure on the supply of water. Uisce Éireann, which is the water crowd in this country, confirmed a water conservation order will come into force from 12:01 a.m. midnight on Thursday, and that's going to stay in place until 11:59 midnight on Wednesday, August the 26th. So that's they must be expecting some fairly fine weather over the coming weeks and months, right up until towards the end of August. And it will be in effect, it won't affect us here in the west because we don't matter, but up near Dublin where they do matter, this ban will be in effect. They're all the ones who were protesting against water charges, and of course without paying for the water you can't really have investment in the system, and now you pay the price because the system isn't able to cope with they cannot treat enough water. That's the problem. You might be saying, on the face of it, you might be saying, sure, how could they possibly be out of water? But the problem is they're out of treated water. And the effect is that customers across Dublin, South Tipperary and parts of Kildare, Meath and Wexford and Wicklow, they're all the counties that's affected by this hose ban. And the utilities, Uisce Beatha, is saying that the ban is needed after weeks of exceptionally warm and dry weather, and that has sent demand for water soaring, putting significant pressure on the treatment plants and the reservoirs and the wider water network. So whilst there may be a lot of water, getting it treated and making it safe and all that stuff, the water system is under severe pressure. So that hose ban is going into effect. And not only are they putting into effect a hose ban for the aforementioned counties, they're also setting up a snitch line. That's right, a hotline. And you can snitch on your neighbour. And it was interesting because on the News and One today, we were listening in the car, and the News and One were interviewing all these they were out and about interviewing people, and they were asking if they would snitch on their neighbour. I think one or two that said they would. Most people are saying no, they wouldn't do that. So there you go. The snitch line will be, or the hotline will be in place. And if you see your neighbour wasting the water or doing whatever is in contravention of that hose ban, you can call them up and they'll do something like that. What else can we tell you? Yeah, the status yellow high temperature warning from Cork up to Mayo. So it's hot weather everywhere you look, and that's the story up and down the country. Most people not complaining. A few people, well, there'll always be a few, won't there? A few people don't like this hot weather. It makes them grumpy and crabby and all the rest of it. But I would say embrace it, enjoy it. Here in the west, we're kind of lucky because I can tell you today there's a nice cool breeze, and it's keeping us nice and cool here in the west. You need the sunscreen though, because you get burned pretty quickly when you're out, particularly when there is a strong breeze, so watch out for that. So that's the weather, more of the same up until the weekend, and heat warnings and uncharted territory for us almost, I would say. But summer is definitely back, and summer's here in Ireland, and it's a different country. It's a different country when it's not raining. Actually, you know, it just feels so good and just so beautiful, and we get to see it because we don't need umbrellas. So there you go. I would say embrace it and enjoy it. It won't be around forever. That's the weather, friends. You're listening to the Daily Crack here with me, Sean G. We are streaming live on Global Irish Radio, globalirishradio.com or gir.ie, the Irish diaspora station. Our tentacles spread far and wide to the four corners of the globe. And check us out online and stuff like that. And as I said, the brand new website, have you had a chance to check it out? Let us know. Spread the good word, dailycrack.com. And everything, as you say, that we cover here on the programme, there are links to that on the site. So even if we're not around, you can update yourself. You can check out the daily papers and find out whatever it is you need to stay connected with Mother Ireland. But we hope you'll do that. dailycrack.com and spread the good word. And if you haven't already done so, don't forget to download the Global Irish Radio app. It's available wherever you get your apps, all fine app stores, and download it and take us with you. Now, staying with, I suppose, the World Cup for a minute, because, you know, we were talking about it yesterday, and, you know, the whole debacle with Trump and, you know, getting involved and meddling in terms of the getting that decision on the red card overturned. It didn't matter because they got their ass whooped anyway, and I think it only emboldened the Belgians, and they obviously got the better of them, and anyway, but it was not a good look, and you know, but the you know, this current administration don't seem to bother about that. Some people say that they are, you know, blatant corruption isn't a problem, and you know, you have to be worried when Sepp Blatter, remember Sepp Blatter? He was the former head of FIFA. This is how bad things are in Washington right now, and they don't even care. You know, this whole thing about getting the red card overturned, and you know, the perception that there's meddling and corruption didn't bother some people. And I was astonished to see that Sepp Blatter, it was you know, he is the poster child for corruption, and he's not even allowed to attend. He's the former head of FIFA. He's the guy that was head of FIFA before the Infantino took over. But anyway, he was plagued with corrupt allegations and charges of corruption, so much so that he isn't even allowed to attend a football game, a World Cup game, until 2028. But he came out criticising the actions of the administration with regards to them exerting their political muscle for events on a sporting field, and he did not hold back. So when you see the likes of that, as I say, Sepp Blatter, the poster child for corruption, and he thinks the actions of the administration and the Donald was outrageous, then you know it's really, really bad. Let's face it. And meanwhile, as I said, a lot of excitement across the way with our neighbours. They think that football's coming home, and the cup and all the rest of it. And, you know, they're all excited because there could be one of the good things that will happen if England do win. They're going to get a national holiday to celebrate. That's right. So lots of people looking forward, hopefully, to an extra bank holiday. Keir Starmer has said that, and they're all waiting. I'm not sure what the latest... will it be the day after they win, or will it be for a homecoming ceremony? There's a lot. The details have to be worked out, but Keir Starmer is promising people that there'll be a national holiday to celebrate should they win. And this comes on the back of his decision to allow the pubs. You remember the Mexico game? I think it was the Mexico game. It was on late at night, and he said that all of the pubs across the UK could stay open until 5 a.m. Like the English fans don't have enough drinking them by 1 or 2 a.m. He says they can stay open until 5 a.m. and that's exactly what he did there. So I mean, if he had more policies like this, then he might not have to stand down as the Prime Minister. He'd be a lot more popular. So he has resigned, as you know, and Andy Burnham likely to be his successor there. It's an interesting time in British politics. We'll have to talk a little bit about it one day on the programme, because you have a by-election there with Nigel Farage, and Count Binface is his only opposition. So they've changed their Prime Minister now about 6 times in the last 10 years. Brexit didn't go too well. The economy is shrinking, and things are not so good across the water, you know. But, their loss is our gain, and Ireland certainly seems to be gaining as a result of the whole, in terms of the, in economic terms, from their withdrawal of the EU, because we're getting a lot of the business and investment that would have gone to the UK, but because the UK is not part of Europe now, people want access to those European markets. They want access to an English-speaking country. They want access to a company that has good taxation policies, low taxation policies, and so that is why this little country of ours is punching, as Enda Kinney said, way above its weight, and we are doing very well economically. We are running huge surpluses. We're spending like drunken sailors as well, so that's one thing we need to get a grip on, and the talks are already underway. There's a lot of behind the scenes talks happening at the moment as they formulate the budget for, is it October or sometime in the final quarter of the year anyway, so the budget talks and negotiations are happening right now, but generally speaking we're doing pretty well, and we are the envy of the world when it comes to our growth, our economic growth levels and our surpluses, all of that nice stuff. And yesterday another shot in the arm for this little country of ours, because we got more good news on the investment front. Hundreds of jobs will be created in Ireland after Intel announced that it will be investing 5 billion euros to expand its Leixlip campus, and they have a big campus up there. They employ thousands of people, and they've had that campus for quite some time. The tech giant said that the global demand for AI and high performance computing was behind this cash injection. So in other words, whilst there's a lot of concern in many quarters about the AI revolution or the boom that's happening at the moment, because people are worried that there'll be job losses and stuff like that, the good news here is what Intel are doing. They make the chips for AI, so that's happening in their Leixlip plant, and so that side of the equation is booming. As you said, tech companies are investing billions in their AI, developing their AI networks and stuff like that. And so Intel, well placed, and huge demand for chips, AI chips and stuff like that. So that whilst on the other side of the equation, job losses are projected down the line, where AI and computers starts doing the work of people. Here in Ireland, having a company like Intel that produces these AI chips is good news for us. The expansion strengthens Ireland's role in securing resilient semiconductor supply chains. So it puts us at the centre, right at the centre of the AI chip manufacturing business and stuff like that. So that's more good news for us here in this country. So we thought we'd share that with you. Lots of coverage on that on the news yesterday and in the papers. And of course the politicians, they'll always be out front and centre for that kind of stuff. Elsewhere, I see Simon Harris pictured in the papers today. 16 is the golden age for allowing teens on social media, Simon Harris has said, as anticipated EU proposals will likely fall short of his wishes. And as you know, some countries, Australia, the UK maybe too, a lot of talk in recent times about, limiting youngsters' access to social media, and Australia and England have gone to age 16, but they think in Europe that those proposals will be watered down a little bit. But of course it has to go through that large bureaucratic animal that is the EU, and what comes out the other end only remains to be seen. Ireland, of course, is in a unique situation because we have to balance the rights of our youngsters with the huge investment that we get from these tech bros, and all the tech bros have huge investments and a huge presence here in Ireland. So some people think that's why Ireland has not really been to the fore on this issue. We were on other issues. If you think about the smoking ban and different things throughout history, we're always at the forefront, very progressive in that regard. But in terms of the social media ban, we've kind of been like slow, let's put it that way. We've kind of like been flying under the radar, and we haven't been saying a whole lot because we know that we are caught in the middle, a rock and a hard place. Anyway, there you go. You can read all about that in the papers as well today. As we say, a link to all of the papers on our website, dailycrack.com. studio@gir.ie if you ever feel the need to get in touch with us here at the programme. studio@gir.ie. That's exactly where you'll find us. Now, can you imagine earning 435,000 euros or dollars per second? Can you? Well, that's exactly how much Conor McGregor made from the fight at the weekend. His ill-fated fight that lasted less than 69 seconds. He stands to gain, so don't feel too sorry for him. He may have hurt his leg and he may have suffered huge humiliation, but it won't bother him when he goes to the bank to cash his check, because he's getting about 30 million out of the fight. 15 million was the base pay, and then with the pay-per-view and the sponsorships and all the promotion money, when you tot that all up, he'll walk away roughly about 30 million. So not a bad payday for 69 seconds in the ring. He's back in Ireland now, and he's promising or talking about undergoing some kind of surgery on that leg and that injury that he suffered in the opening seconds. And he is pledging or saying that he will fight again. But who's going to go along to pay to see that? That's my question to you. So there you go. That's Conor McGregor back home with his tail between his legs, and but still talking tough. Still the bravado Conor that we all know and don't love. But anyway, there you go. Not a bad old payday, I think you'll agree. So there you go. Luke O'Neill. Remember Luke O'Neill? Does that name sound familiar? Well, it does in this country, and particularly to people that were glued to the televisions during the pandemic, because he's a professor of biochemistry at Trinity College, and he was quite regularly on the TV and on the radio and on panel as a panelist on various television programs discussing COVID-19 back in the day when that was a thing, and nobody knew when it was going to end, and this, that, and whatever. But anyway, he produced a paper or a piece on why being a sports fan is good for your health. And so it turns out that being a sports fan is good for your health for all matter of reasons. And he's been talking a lot about that lately. He wrote a nice piece in the Irish Independent going into it and the effects on the body of being a sports fan. And it turns out it's good for you. So I don't know. I don't know. I find some of these big sports events, particularly now we have the Mayo-Kerry game, I don't think I'll be able to watch that, I'll be honest. I just have to come in and hear the result, because, the highs and lows of that can be, you talk about the irritability in this, but you talk about the heart index and, the pressure and all that excitement. It's just, especially Mayo. And I've given our record, it's so hard to watch at times, because usually we're doing really, really well at the outset, and by the end it's it's always ends in tears, or at least it has the last 13 times. That's how many times we've made it to a final without winning. But as I said yesterday, the curse is now lifted, and as I said yesterday, all of the team and the panel from 1951 are now dead, and I don't want to sound like I'm celebrating, but I am. Well, I'm not, but it gives us hope going into this final against Kerry. But, as I say, either way, whether it doesn't matter, the good news is, according to Luke O'Neill, again, who is a professor of biochemistry at Trinity College, doesn't matter if your team wins or lose. It's the effects kind of on the body. It gives us a sense of purpose and belonging, and that is a good thing. And he says it dates way back to our tribal origins in Africa, thousands of years ago. And as I say, all kinds of positive effects on the body in terms of, if you're winning, it releases dopamine. That's that pleasure or reward thing in the brain. The endorphins, the things you get when you go for a big long run and you just feel on top of the world afterwards. It releases those into your system as well, so you end up feeling really, really good. And that's why people who run get quite addicted to it, and they end up doing it all the time. And it also increases the level of testosterone in the body as well, we're told, which is why oftentimes after this big sporting events, 9 months later, there's a surge in the birth rate. A lot of babies are born. For example, we look at Boston and the Scottish people all over there. It's anticipated that there'll be a huge increase in the number of Scottish babies born in Boston or in Scotland following this year's World Cup, because they increased testosterone levels during that tournament. So there you go. And in terms of losing, it's not all about winning. It's also positive on the body as well, because it builds resilience, we're told, and that shared sense of loss is good as well. So there's all kinds of benefits arising from being a sporting fan. So it turns out that being a sports fan is good. It's good for your body for all of those reasons. There's all this stuff going on behind the scenes and under the belt and in the brain that you mightn't even be aware of, but it turns out it's positive on the body, be your team winning, be they winning or be they losing. the results, it's a win-win situation for the body. So, become a sports fan if you're not already a sports fan. I guess that's the message from Luke O'Neill. And he did a nice interview on RTE, and it's still available to listen back, or you can read his piece from the Irish Independent from, I think it was one of the, a few weeks ago. But people are still talking about it. And, of course, obviously with the World Cup on now, and of course with the All-Ireland final and all of that, it's topical. Shall we put it that way? Yes, it is. It's topical. There you go. That's Luke O'Neill. dailycrack.com. We hope you're well. We hope you're staying cool wherever in the world you find yourself. Once again, we remind you, dailycrack.com. It's the place to go. Check it out. Tell your friends. And, it's a gateway to lots of things. Newspapers, radio stations here in Ireland. Find out your favourite podcasts. There's a link to all your favourite podcasts on there, the top 10 countdown. And speaking of podcasts, we expect to record if it's not too hot, we expect to do the latest edition of the Irish Ranter later on tonight. So we will be dropping that hopefully before midnight tonight. The Irish Ranter, check it out at theirishranter.com. And of course, for all of the most popular podcasts, as I said there, dailycrack.com, we will link you to all of those. All right, let's see what else we got. We have a little bit of television news for you. We have there's a changing of the guard for this year's Up for the Match. That's the show before when everybody goes to Dublin for the All-Ireland finals, the hurling and the football. They have a big night beforehand of music and entertainment from the various counties. A new presenter on that this year. I'll tell you all about that as well. And lots of tributes to Sam Neill, whom the Northern Ireland-born New Zealand actor who passed away yesterday. But why don't we take a little bit of music so we can catch our breath there, and we will come back. Here is, who have we got for you? Here's a nice one from Dominic Kerwin, and this one's called Bundling.
Willie Riley, in Dublin I was born, and for my bad behaviour I was forced to cross the foam. With me bundling on me shoulder, me shillelagh in me hand, for to ramble the bushes of Australia like a true-born Irishman. The wind being in our favour, we raised our sails with glee, and we gave 3 hearty cheers, me boys, going down the Irish Sea. We gave 3 hearty cheers, me boys, going down the Irish Sea. And on the 11th day of April, we landed in Portmagee. With me bundling on me shoulder, me shillelagh in me hand, for to ramble the bushes of Australia like a true-born Irishman. And when we reached old Melbourne, the ladies danced with joy. Says one of them to the other, here comes that Irish boy. And some they drank from glasses, and some they drank from cans, and they sang and they danced all around the house to the health of this Irish man. With me bundling on me shoulder, me shillelagh in me hand, for to ramble the bushes of Australia like a true-born Irishman. Says the mother to the daughter, I cannot understand why you're going to wed this Irish boy all the way from Paddy's land. Says the daughter to her mother, sure I'll do the best I can, since I ramble the bushes of Australia with my true-born Irishman. With me bundling on me shoulder, me shillelagh in me hand, for to ramble the bushes of Australia like a true-born Irishman. With me bundling on me shoulder, me shillelagh in me hand, for to ramble the bushes of Australia like a true-born Irishman.
Good deeds are great things, and a single good deed can grow into a forest of kindness. At treedeeds.com, you can dedicate a tree in someone's honour and make a lasting impact on the planet. Each tree is deeded and comes with a personalised certificate, perfect for birthdays, holidays, memorials, or just because. Celebrate life, give back to nature, and leave a legacy that grows. Visit treedeeds.com today. That's treedeeds.com. Rooted in Ireland, gifted worldwide.
Global Irish Radio is excited to partner with 950 WROL-AM, the Spirit of Boston, to bring you portions of the Irish Hit Parade, providing the soundtrack to your weekend. Join Paul Sullivan on Saturdays 3 to 7 p.m. Irish time and famous Seamus Mulligan on Sundays 7 to 10 p.m. for a feast of Irish music. Streaming live from Boston right here on globalirishradio.com.
Yes, indeed, friends, right here on Global Irish Radio. Best thing about the weekends, live music from Boston. Paul Sullivan on Saturdays with the Irish Hit Parade. They had a slight schedule change over there, so we pick up the second 2 hours of Paul's show, the Irish Hit Parade, 3 to 5 here on Global Irish Radio. And then that means it's off to Chicago an hour earlier, and we pick up the entire O'Connor Irish Radio show between 5 and 7 Irish time, 11 a.m. to 1 there in Chicago. And then, of course, Tom's Good Morning Ireland between 1 to 3 with Weekly Irish News, Eileen Magner, Tommy Marin with all of this sports news, and lots of other great programmes over the course of the weekend as well. And on Sundays, Joe Reardon now filling the shoes of the late Seamus Mulligan. So that's Sunday nights, the Sunday night portion of the Irish Hit Parade there from Boston, courtesy of our good friends out there, Irish 950 WROL-AM, the Spirit of Boston. Tom's back tonight in the hot seat. Tom's Irish Radio Show, 8 o'clock Chicago time. Or no, 2 o'clock Chicago time, is it? 8 o'clock Irish time. And you can get your requests and dedications in nice and early to Tom at gir.ie. Jim Corbett brings you the 2-hour show from 5 to or 6 to 8 tonight Irish time. Jim Corbett from the studios there in Bundoran County, Donegal. So lots of good country and Irish, new releases, trad, and all of that nice stuff. Check it out tonight here on Global Irish Radio between 6 and 8. And for a complete schedule, gir.ie or globalirishradio.com. This is Daily Crack. My name's Sean G. Margaret back in the producer's chair after a lovely day in the City of the Tribes yesterday, Galway, and back and hiding from the sun. 12th's a swelter. That's a bit of a tongue twister. That's the headline of today's, in the centre pages of today's Irish Daily Star, underneath of which there are lots of pictures from the 12th of July parades, the orange parades in Northern Ireland. A lot of the papers have coverage of proceedings there because the 12th fell on a Sunday this year. We're told that most of the parades took place yesterday rather than on the Sunday, so that's why all of the pictures are just making it into the papers today, Tuesday. And lots of course, the chief unionist Jeffrey Donaldson is locked up in jail because he was found guilty in his recent recent sex trial. He can now call himself a rapist, a liar and a paedophile, in addition to all the other titles that he had, the unionist titles. They used to call him Sir, now they call him Creep. But anyway, there you go. He's in a Northern Irish prison. He's the ex-DUP leader accused of abusing kids and living a double life and all kinds of sordid, oh my gosh. Talk about living a double life and then coming out preaching to others. But anyway, there you go. He's in jail. But the rest of the Orange Orders were out, are not protesting. They used to protest, but it seems to me that these parades, they seem to be, and this is good news, it seems to me that they seem to be evolving a little bit more into kind of a more of a celebration than a protest. And, you know, they're not so obsessed. They used to be in the old days really obsessed with, you know, just getting on people's wick in the nationalist community by insisting they march down these Catholic or nationalist areas. Nowadays, with the Parades Commission, all of that, things have settled down, and that is good news. And a lot of the pictures are smiling faces. There's pretty girls, there's some men wearing those sashes, as you'd expect, the Orange Orders and stuff like that. But overall, the pictures convey a happy occasion, if I may say that, and more of a celebration than anything else, much like you'd have here in the South for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. So it's kind of turning into that kind of atmosphere, which I think is a good thing. The only bad thing is those fires. They need to get rid of that nonsense. I mean, in this day and age, building fires that are like, you know, in residential areas or close to public buildings and in parking lots that we're not talking about small little bonfires that we do here for the St. John's night here in June. We're talking about bonfires that are 15, 20 stories high. It's a ridiculous tradition, and they need to get rid of that thing. That's nonsense. And putting things on top of the bonfires as symbols of hate or whatever it is that they do to fuel their bigotry and hatred, that aspect of the 12th of July needs to change, I would think. So outdated and all of the rest of it, and rooted in, as you say, rooted in hatred, really, isn't it? So that aspect, and it causes all kinds of problems for authorities there in Northern Ireland. 300 call-outs for the fire brigades, and then they're dealing with mobs of people when they try and intervene and protect local property or whatever it is, and put out these enormous bonfires. So that part of it needs they need to boot that, I would think. Rightio then, dailycrack.com, Sean G with you here most days between 3 to 5. Hopefully you can take us with you can take us with you. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Now, navigating government bureaucracy can be daunting. Nobody knows that better than me. Especially for Irish expats looking to return home or to renovate ancestral properties, that kind of stuff, or to get a driver's license, anything like that. There's a lot of hoops and barriers and things like that. But a Sligo native living abroad has created a free, accessible solution to bridge this information gap for the global Irish community. I thought this was very fascinating and very interesting. His name is Daniel O'Hara, and that's a good Sligo name, as you probably well know. He's been living abroad for 10 years or so, and he came up with the idea on a recent visit home to his hometown in County Sligo. He's helping out the daddy around the house and in the bog, that kind of stuff. You know what you do when you're on your holidays here in Ireland. Great weather for the bog right now. Too bad we can't cut turf, but there you go. Anyway, they turned the conversation onto the challenges of finding accurate information about Ireland's vacant and derelict property grant. And there's all kinds of grants and things that you can avail of if you know about them. If you're an expat returning and you want to set up shop or set up home here in Ireland, you want to buy a piece of property, renovate it, that kind of stuff, all kinds of things. And but navigating it is very, very difficult indeed, and you may not know half the stuff exists. Things like the vacant and derelict property grant. If you buy a property that's been vacant for more than 4 years, and if it's you can get grants of up to 70,000. There's an insulation grant to retrofit your house or your property. You can qualify for about 27 grand in that regard. You can get a roof replacement grant for about 8,000. There's windows and doors replacements, all kinds of things. So this young man from Sligo, Daniel O'Hara, he has obviously the technical expertise, and he was seeing his neighbours, a lot of them paying out of pocket for a lot of these things, like replacing the windows and doors and insulation and stuff like that, or their roofs. And he became aware of the fact that there were grants available to them that they weren't necessarily availing of because they simply didn't know about them, and particularly returning expats wouldn't be familiar with a lot of these programs. So he created this website. He went back to Dubai where he lives, and he created this website, and it's to help people. It's the website name is irishgrantsandSupports.ie, and it covers not just grants and derelict housing and that kind of stuff. It focuses on farming. If you want to set up a small business, the grants that are available for that, for childcare, all matter of things. And so, as we say, you can go into he breaks it down, he makes it simple. It's a free website, and it helps people in Ireland or people returning to Ireland to find grants, payments and supports that they might qualify. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful site, and you can just enter. It's he breaks down the there's carer allowances and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things. We've all kinds of programs, but a lot of people simply don't know that it exists. And the motivation behind the Passion Project stems from a desire to look out for those who might otherwise be left behind by the digital divide or complex government website. So he breaks it down, he makes it simple, and he makes it he turns it into layman's speak. There's a lot of government websites, it's all like technical jargon and all of the rest of it. So he created this simple website where you enter a keyword or something like that. It gets rid of all the complicated jargon, and you just put in your keyword that you look, and it comes up what you might be entitled to. So it's a nice site for anybody thinking about returning back to this country, or even if you live in this country and you're wondering what you're entitled to. It's a great place. It's it's a great place in terms of making it simple, simplifying it, because governments like to make things as complicated as possible, and there's a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy, and navigating your way through that can be a nightmare. So this young lad from Sligo, having came home to visit the daddy and help him with the renovation project, Daniel O'Hara is his name. He put together the website, and very helpful, I imagine, will be to a lot of people, particularly people returning home, expats and the like, that for the global it's geared towards the diaspora as well as people in this country. So check that one out. Maybe we can put a link to it somewhere on our website. What's it called again? I have it here: irishgrantsandSupports.ie. Check it out if you can. A lot of coverage in the papers today, celebrating, I suppose, the life of a great actor. And we told you about Sam Neill, who died yesterday at the age of 78, the Northern Ireland-born New Zealand actor, and lots of pictures of his life on the big screen, the various roles that he played. And of course he was in Jurassic Park. That was probably his most famous role. On screen he was a dinosaur expert, Alan Grant in Jurassic Park, remember him? And coping with 2 lost children at the same time as an island full of escaped, dinosaurs and that kind of stuff. So that was a good movie. They were good movies back in the day. But anyway, he played a key role in that, and lots of other things as well. But Sam Neill, who died yesterday at the age of 78, celebrated in our papers today, and there are lots of warm tributes from his peers and the likes of Cillian Murphy and different people like that. And what a wonderful decorated career he had. Died, as I say, yesterday at the age of 78. So lots of coverage on that in the papers today. All right. Promised you a little bit of television showbiz news, gossip kind of stuff. GAA commentator Marty Morrissey, everybody's favourite GAA commentator. Don't worry, he's not going anywhere. I didn't realise it, but he's turning 68. Yeah, Marty Morrissey. He has no plans to retire. He is turning 68, and he is, he's been describing the action for RTE viewers since 1989. That's how long he's been commentating on games, GAA games that is, and he does not intend to stop anytime soon. He said, "Don't use that word around me. I've never heard of it." The retirement word, that is. And he said he loves Clint Eastwood's great line, "Don't let the old man in." That's exactly what Marty's doing. He's not letting the old man in. And if you've looked at him, you'll see he's not. He's got his eyebrows well groomed, and the hair is well taken care of as well. Doesn't look the most natural, but there you go. It's all part of this keeping the old man out thing. Anyway, you have to do it. And anyway, he says Clint Eastwood is a man who doesn't know the meaning of the word retirement. And Clint Eastwood's still alive, actually, isn't he? But anyway, he's in the papers today, and he's recalling his very first commentary game. And he talks about the difference between commentating on a game on the radio versus television, and the different skills involved, because you have to paint a picture. If you're commentating and people can see the action, it's completely different to commentating on the radio, where you have to paint that picture, and you have to portray the you have to paint a picture of what's happening on the screen. So he talks all about that, and his love for the game and his love for commentating, and he's been broadcasting for a long time, and he ain't going anywhere anytime soon. The old man ain't getting in there. Now, the Up for the Match, a little bit of a change of the helm of Up for the Match this year. Dáithí O'Shea is the new man. Des Cahill used to do this particular show. It's always way back in the day. Different people have done it throughout the years, and it's a big night, big tradition here in Ireland, where the night before Up for the Game, everybody comes to Dublin for the All-Ireland football finals and hurling finals. Lots of people converge on the capital, and they have a celebration of the 2 counties that are involved in the final. And this year, as I said, normally Des Cahill would do it, but Dáithí O'Shea said he's delighted to get the job, and he'll be co-hosting it this year for the very first time. Dáithí and Louise Cantillon will replace Des Cahill to join Jackie Hurley for the hit programme, and he is, by all accounts, very excited. He said he's been looking forward to doing this for a long time. So that's Dáithí O'Shea. He'll feel right at home, and particularly given that his Kerry, whom he's a big supporter of, obviously, they're in the final as well, in the football final this year. So that's Up for the Match, and it's going to be coming this time, for the very first time, I think, from Croke Park. So the atmosphere, there'll be a huge and an amazing atmosphere for Up for the Match this year, and Dáithí O'Shea, the new kid on the block for that broadcast. So watch out for that coming to your small screens on the night before the finals. The All-Ireland Hurling Final on the 19th of July, so the Saturday night before that. And then the football final is on the 26th of July. And then, you know, used to be in September, but all of that has changed now. The GAA have to make more money in those months from other endeavours, concerts and the like, which really irks the Irish ranter, I can tell you. He rants about that a lot. But anyway, some people just don't like change. And that's how it is though these days. And the Irish interest in Love Island, Sean Fitzgerald has been he's been booted. Yes, lots of people were following his progress on Love Island. He's an interesting character because he's also a GAA star. Yes, he is, and he's now tipped to be he's likely to appear on our screens again following his hugely successful run on Love Island, which is a British TV show, isn't it? They expect that he'll show up in the form of maybe as one of the contestants on Dancing with the Stars. The Galway GAA star, nicknamed Fitzy, made a surprise departure from Love Island on Sunday night with his partner Lola Deal. The 25-year-old sports star, or the sports ace, caused a stir earlier this year when he made the bold decision to walk away from Pádraig Joyce's football squad. Yeah, he was on the panel, or was one of the players for the Galway senior team. But he had other notions, and he decided to walk away from the team, and he bought a ticket and flew out to Majorca to appear on Love Island, and he won the hearts, and he went down very well with the viewers, and he hit it off like you wouldn't believe with Lola, who he described as wifey material, and the two of them now are continuing their relationship beyond Love Island. And the bookies are offering all kinds of odds on what Fitzy will do next. Some say that he'll join. The odds of him going on or appearing on Dancing with the Stars appear to be 3-1. Returning to Galway to the panel with the senior footballers and bringing Sam back to Galway, the odds there 5-1, or at 7-1 he could go back to being a school teacher because that's his day job, or that was his day job. But suddenly, following his appearance on Love Island, he has all kinds of options and possibilities before him. So it turns out maybe I think he made the right decision there, given that Galway are out of the championship, and he's now coming back to Ireland. And he's the talk of the town, and Irish viewers in particular, I think across the UK as well. He went down really, really well, and he certainly raised his profile, and lots of people talking about him. And he was booted off though at the weekend, but he's well positioned to continue his, I suppose, high profile career, or his. You'll be seeing a lot more of him. Let's put it that way. Barry Manilow is back after. He had a little bit. He underwent cancer treatment, didn't he? And it's amazing because all these old timers, the likes of Rod Stewart, the Rolling Stones, they're all still out doing big things and touring. Even though Rod did cancel a few shows because he wasn't feeling well, while he was going to the World Cup. But anyway, there you go. Don't tell anyone. But he did, Rod Stewart recently actually as well was in the news because he sparked fresh health concerns after he was spotted using an oxygen tank during a concert. Well, what do you expect? He's 81 years old. He said he was at a concert in Utah, and he appeared to be in need of medical assistance. He was about to faint, basically, he said afterwards. But, you know, he's 81 years old and he's still rocking away. And so what if the guy needs a little bit of oxygen? Isn't he entitled to a little bit of oxygen? So there you go. It actually worked out well given his cancelling of gigs to be at the World Cup, and made it look like he did have health concerns. We know he doesn't. He's as healthy as could be. But Barry Manilow is back out touring as well and performing, and for a while there he wasn't sure if his voice would come back because of the treatment, but he is out and about. And what's interesting is at a recent show, a Barry Manilow fan says he was banned from meeting his idol after staff said his wig and his jacket were an insult. In other words, this guy put on a wig and a jacket that was meant to look like Barry Manilow, but his security people and his inner circle didn't think it was appropriate, and he was booted from the VIP. He bought tickets apparently at a cost of 3,000 or something to go in and meet his idol, but he wasn't looking the part, so he wasn't allowed in. So there you go, that's 3,000 down the drain. But yeah, Barry Manilow, he's back and he's still performing. And I see that Elton John, this must be a first. Elton John has signed a deal worth about 79 million or something, a lot of money, let's put it that way, for concerts and performances from the grave, beyond the grave even, if I should say that. That's right, he's signed up to some kind of a deal where he gets the money now for performances after he dies in the form of a hologram. And you might have seen that with ABBA. That's exactly what they did. They were performing shows in London as holograms. The only thing is they're still alive, but they did these. They have to do some of the performances now as they capture the I don't know. It's complicated, but the top and bottom of it is that there'll be shows featuring Elton John as a hologram after he passes in Vegas, courtesy of this deal that they've worked out. And it's great. He gets the money now. And, there you go. You go see him as a hologram after he dies. So there you go. These are the times we live in, friends. Technology, AI, all of the rest of it. There you go. Some of the weird, the wacky, wonderful stories that you'll find in a lot of our papers today. And I see, here's an interesting one. A new hypersonic space plane has been built that can take you from London to Sydney in just 3 hours. Can you imagine that? The world surely is becoming a smaller place. Margaret was saying she's not sure if she'd like to fly on that kind of a plane. But, who knows? They're working on it at the moment. They call it the Invictus jet. And it's been developed by the European Space Agency, and it's been backed by the UK Space Agency, and it could zoom into space at more than 6,000 kilometers per hour. So imagine that. You could fly from Sydney to Dublin in less time than it would take you to get from Dublin to Mayo on CIE or Bus Éireann or whatever you call it, the trains. Although the trains have got better in recent times, and but there you go. The future is now. The future's here. They already have a prototype, and they're flying it. I think they're testing it as a drone, and it's only a matter of time before they will be putting people on board these things, and they will be getting you all around the world in, as I say, 3 hours, Sydney to London. Now that ain't bad. Strap yourself in well and tight. And you want to do that because you might have seen that case there last week or the week before where a passenger on Ryanair nearly flew out the window when a piece of debris from the engine struck the window and pulled the window out, and your man nearly flew out the window too with it. Fortunately, he was wearing a seatbelt, and the wife grabbed him by the legs and pulled him back in again. He still had to pay for his flight. Not sure, I don't know. There you go. But anyway, there you go. As I say, some of the weird, wacky, wild and wonderful stories in our papers, on our social media, the various sites. You can find it all at dailycrack.com. You've been listening to Daily Crack. My name is Sean G. There we shall leave it for this hot and sticky Tuesday. But join us back here. Not sure if we'll be here tomorrow. We might be here tomorrow. Anyway, dailycrack.com is where you need to go when we're not here. I think we'll be here tomorrow. If not, we will see you on Thursday. But we'll leave you with the music of. Here's a song that my pal Mike Hanrahan sent, and he's joined on this one by Eleanor Shanley. It's called Craggy Hill, and we leave it this Tuesday. Talk to you tomorrow at 3.
On a craggy hill, a long ago winter's morning, we watched the sun hanging with the moon. We thought this bloody war would soon be over. One day soon, you said, one day soon. But for you and me, this war never ended. We fought side by side, and soon we turned the gun. In this bitter, twisted world of our envy, is the battle ever won?
I often think about you in the springtime and the summer breeze when I hear the cuckoo shrill. When the autumn falls around me like a thunder, I hear you now on Craggy Hill. We left our dreams somewhere on the hillside, where the hazel and the wildflower bloom.
Ever since that day we parted,
I lay down with the ghost of you.
you the poet wrote about her comrades.
You're the artist who painted her instead.
All of you, the vanquished revolution. I hear you now on Craggy Hill. I see you now on Craggy Hill.
Around the clock and around the world. You're listening to globalirishradio.com.